Steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag-off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. From the bug with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every mold. With two dumb Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
Good morning, my Yinzers and my Yinzerettes. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. This is episode 791 of the Two Dumb Yinzers. I just want to say to everybody, good morning and welcome back. Welcome back to the show. I want to say good morning on the board to Corey Silva and Corey Beavers. Cody Silva and Corey Beavers. I'm sorry about that. Good morning, fellas. Great seeing you on board. Ready to talk some Steeler football. Hell yeah. Training camp is over, guys. We waited for months and months and months for training camp to get here, and it is behind us. We are now getting ready for our second preseason game against Tampa Bay on Saturday. But in the meantime, the Steelers will be playing inter-team. What's it called? What I always refer to
inter-squad practice.
Inter-squad practice.
Oh, my goodness.
Thursday, tomorrow, it's going to be between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers players and the Steelers players at Acrisure Stadium. No fans are allowed, but nonetheless, there is an inter-squad practice tomorrow between the two teams, and then they'll face off again on Saturday, again in the second preseason of the game of the year. Good morning to Lee on the board. Nice seeing you. Welcome to the board, sir. A lot of things to go over today as training camp did wrap up yesterday, Mike. A lot of good things we've seen from training camp. A few questionable, and the thing is, when you're trying to, when things are looking good, you're trying to pick out things that are looking bad. You don't want to dig too far because you don't want to find something that, maybe isn't a problem. But I would say that Broderick Jones, trying to adapt and get his left tackle position down pat would be one of my biggest glaring issues. But after one game against a soft Jacksonville team in the preseason, Mike, I guess he looked pretty good. So we'll get more into that in just a moment, guys. Again, the Steelers wrap up training camp yesterday. They'll be participating in a practice tomorrow with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Acrisure Stadium. Before we do get started, Mike, I just have one complaint before we do start on the Steelers. I seen David Bednar pitching the other night for New York, and not only did he do well, but he came out, Mike, to the Renegade. Now, he's a Pittsburgh boy. We gave him, he gets the name here. the song here. Of course, the song is popular here, more popular than most places right now, of course, because of the Steelers. But David Bednar comes out to Renegade. They had all the lights blinking, all this crazy stuff, Mike. And I don't know if I like this. Again, I don't know if you would like it because this is just making the song more popular again, the song that you aren't a big fan of. But again, the Yankees taking the Renegade song and doing the whole production that we did for so many years.
They're honoring a Pittsburgher and his Pittsburgh roots. That should make us feel proud that, we're taking over Yankee Stadium.
So this is a good thing? This is a good thing.
It's a good thing.
All right. I didn't know how to feel about it.
The more Renegade is played, Angels get their wings.
I did not know about this, Mike. I turned it on the other day, and again, they had a big production. All the lights are blinking and flashing, kind of like we did, but a lot better because it's New York.
Yeah.
And I like I said, I didn't know how to feel about it, but if you're telling me that this is a good thing, it's paying homage to Pittsburgh and us, then I'm cool with that.
Hey, I shat on Renegade last year, and we saw what happened to the defense down the stretch.
Damn right.
I am praising Renegade, that fantastic song every chance I get, brother.
Well, you know what happened too. Whenever you did that, you had to go through the process of washing that off, Mike, and we don't want that to happen again.
No.
Because this time there's going to be shirts being taken off, and I don't think anybody wants to see that.
No one wants to see that, brother.
So the next ritual, Mike, will have you with no shirt on. So keep that in mind, at least for the people that tune in. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the board. Welcome, Tortilla. Welcome, Richard. Welcome, Corey, Lee, Cody, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. It's time to go. It is go time, if you will, Mike. Steeler training camp has wrapped up as of yesterday. They'll be back at it tomorrow at the inter squad practice with Tampa Bay. A lot of things to go over as camp does wrap up, Mike. Y.A. Black seen walking off the field at the end of practice yesterday with the word massive wrap on his arm. I don't know if the wrap is just that massive, Mike, or it has to be massive to fit that man's arm. But there was a point when he was walking off the field with a massive wrap on his arm yesterday. And of course, the big story, Mike, as far as injuries goes, Aaron Rodgers gets stepped on. In team drills, it was either offense or defensive lineman. We don't know. I would guess an offensive lineman. But, Mike, as far as we know, he had a cut on the front of his calf, came up kind of limp, and they wrapped him up. And obviously, he's going to be okay. But still, our quarterback gets stepped on, Mike, on the last day of camp. Not what you want to hear. But, again, he's not out for 8 weeks for pushing a sled. So, you know what? I'll take this.
I'll take it. It's a slight little boo-boo. And I think the reports where he came back towards the end of practice, they just took him out, sliced him down for a little bit. Don't want anything to happen to your star quarterback. But, we do have Mason Rudolph ready to go.
We do have Mason Rudolph, Mike, and you and I had nothing but great things to say about him yesterday as we talked off the air. I think that I'm a lot more comfortable now that he's back from Tennessee. I'll get into my theory here in a little bit on why he looks so well this most recent time around. But, Mike, we're going to stay on Aaron Rodgers for a second. Of course, he gets stepped on at practice. This is something I would have expected the midget Russell Wilson to do, get stepped on. But, Mike, it was Aaron Rodgers. But that's not the biggest of his problems. As camp wraps up, Mike, the biggest problem that Aaron Rodgers has that I'm seeing is this. Aaron Rodgers is still hunting for a new helmet, Mike, after his old one failed safety standards. And not only does this not fit well for him, he says he looks like a damn spaceship out there.
He already looks like the great kazoo with no matter what helmet he wears. So get the biggest, gaudiest looking thing out there, brother, and just roll into it. Especially like when he played on the Jets, he really, really looked like the great kazoo. But just pick a helmet, brother, and run out there. I get it. You want to feel comfortable. I get it. But come on now. Don't pull an AB on us. Next thing you know, he's going to go into a cryogenic freezer, not wearing protective feetwear, or put his hands in something that he's not supposed to. Well, I suppose, Mike, that we could be, we should be okay with this because I seen a picture just yesterday of Big Ben in his latter years of camp, and he has big pillow-sized bandages wrapped around both knees, around both arms. Yeah. So for him to be just complaining about his helmet looking like a spaceship at this point in the game, I think we're okay. Again, I'm certainly glad that he's not pushing the sleds around like Russell Wilson was last year. So we escaped that so far, Mike. Again,
Training camp is over. They wrapped up yesterday. A lot of guys feel really good about how training camp went this year, from top to bottom, from coaches to players, from defense to offense. Mike, people were feeling really good. Offense obviously would be where the questions are, but it started to come along later on in camp and started to get the results that we hope to see, Mike. But the defense, they're playing out of their mind, and that could also be a good reason why the offense looked kind of slow early on in the training camp.
Yeah, and it's looking like the offense is getting a little bit better too from going up against that good defense.
Yeah.
They're starting to win some battles here. I just checked. I didn't see anything about YA Black's injury, like an update. I know he came out and he had that wrap on him.
Yeah.
You see, they put like the 7-pound bag of ice on him and wrap those things down. They don't mess around in the NFL when it comes to those, when they put the ice on those guys. So it doesn't surprise me that it looked worse for Aaron Rodgers and potentially even YA Black.
So I go to my job yesterday, and I demanded to be valued. And I told my boss, I want a big raise. Give me a big raise. I deserve a big raise. You know what? I'm literally the only person here that does my job. I deserve a big raise, and I mean a lot of money. And we laughed, and I went back to work, and we were both as miserable as we were when we got there. But Mike, I don't know. Apparently, this is one of the big stories. We're not going to go on and on and on about it yesterday. We covered it yesterday. It came out that it doesn't seem like the Steelers are rushing. I don't know if that's the exact word, Mike. I do have the notes written here somewhere. Adam Schefter says this: it feels like the Steelers don't want to pay him right now. Cam Hayward, of course, Mike. And again, we're not going to go on and on about this topic. It got kind of old in my opinion yesterday. And no matter what, somebody's going to have their opinion. They're going to keep their opinion, and there's not much you're going to be able to do to change that. But Mike, does it seem like, and also when Omar Khan was asked about it as well, Mike, he did not answer any questions. He decided to stay away from the Cam and the Boz contract talk. So at this point, do what you got to do. You know how I feel, Mike. I would love to see more of YA Black in the preseason, especially in the preseason. But call me crazy, but I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to have this wrapped up by the time Week 1 comes around, Mike.
I probably they'll find a compromise to get it done. But I do like this quote from Schefter. The Steelers have not had a huge appetite to reward him right now.
Yeah.
I think that right now might be doing a lot of work in that sense.
I think so too.
I think if he would have kept his mouth shut, they may have done something for him. Like, okay, we'll give you a little bit of money, but now you're running your mouth. Now you're saying that the team laughed at you when you said you're going to come back as an all-pro and want more money. If they did laugh at you, which I find it hard to believe, but if they did laugh at you, they're laughing at you because you and your agent are sitting right there next to him as you're negotiating this contract. Like, why wouldn't you put that in your contract? Like, hey, you become an all-pro, money gets converted over, you get this type of bonus or something there. Like, they're probably laughing at you and your agent for being dumbasses.
Yeah, so I mean, I have no reason to think that it's not going to get taken care of. Here's the issue, Mike. It's slow right now. Camp wrapped up yesterday.
Yeah.
People need something to talk about. And you know what? This is something to talk about. I think that this is more of an issue with us out here as the fans than it is with the players and with the team. Again, nothing has really came out that saying that there's going to be an issue. As you're saying, Mike, it just seems like it's something that they're not going to take care of right this moment.
Yeah.
And if they do, it's going to be behind closed doors. And again, I think it's something that we're taking way out of context, Mike. I really do. Because at the end of the day, they're going to pay him. They're going to give, Cam Hayward's not going to stand on the sideline all season long.
I would love it, though, if they just doubled down and said, no, we're not fucking paying you. We're just going to stand our ground. And it's not like Cam got a shit ton of guaranteed money up front this year. His game checks are like, what, $80K? For guys making that shit ton of money, $80K ain't nothing.
Yeah, and I threw the $80K a day around my boss, and he, we laughed again.
Yeah, I tried the same thing today too, brother. I saw my boss after I took the day off yesterday and go, I don't feel valued.
The only thing about it was he kept laughing. When I thought the joke was over, he continued to laugh. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I should. Should I feel? Should I feel valued? I don't know.
You should feel valued. Like, I felt like they showed me my value at work. They gave me a sweet pop.
Ah, there you go.
I got a lolly.
That's what we give you here. So you're that must be your market value.
Yeah.
Good morning to everybody on the board. I do want to say good morning to Sticky B. Good morning to John. Everybody, let's get to some of these messages, Mike, before they get piled up. Good morning to Corey and Cody. Good morning, Lee. Good morning to Richard Tortilla. Great to see everybody this morning on the board. Corey says, my conspiracy brain thought about this not too long ago. Do you think teams like Baltimore or Cleveland hire fans to go to Steeler camp with our fans to record what we do and look like? It wouldn't surprise me. Maybe low level shit. I don't know if there's I don't know if it's like Inspector Gadget kind of shit, but maybe, Mike, what do you think?
Fuck, the Patriots did it.
You're right.
They were just dumbasses got caught.
And I don't know what else could you really take away from camp. There's again, it's a tough thing to do.
Yeah.
Because what are you really going to take away? There's just a million different things going on, and it's possible. It's possible, Corey. I wouldn't rule it out. After we learned earlier this year, Mike, from Chad Brown, or was it Chad that told us that the Corey Ivy, we asked him if players go to other teams and give away, information, and he said, sure, why not?
They sit us down, and I'm not working for them no more.
Yeah. So, little things like that, it wouldn't surprise you. John says Mike will sacrifice a chicken to Joe Boo while listening to Renegade. If that's damn right, that's what's going to happen.
Give me a whole chicken, brother.
No shirt, a chicken.
And I won't wimp out like the movie Major League. I'll sacrifice a real chicken.
Tortilla says that Corey, no need. Everyone knows what we're going to do anyway. Yeah. It's a good way to put it. Tortilla follows it up with a couple more comments saying, Mike T said, Rogers didn't miss a snap, so I'm not worried. Now, yeah, it wasn't serious. I think just the initial hearing of this, that he got stepped on, worried me more than anything. And then I went in and read the details, and it doesn't seem serious at all. Again, better shape than we were last year with our starter being out almost 2 months, Mike, with his injury for pushing sleds. So I'm cool with it. We've been seasoned for this. Yeah, good, Mike.
No, I was gonna say no. I was gonna agree with you, and I was like, why even talk? He's just gonna keep going.
Tortilla also says wearing a helmet when you're high sucks. I don't blame him. John says Lord Helmet Rogers.
Like the big ass helmet.
Yes. Cody says NFL got so soft back in the day, them dudes didn't even have helmets. They wore leather condoms on their heads. Yes, they did. And I do like them Packers leather condom helmets that they're going to wear this year against the Steelers. I am a fan of that. The look, it's neat.
Yeah, like Illinois wore them last year in the throwback game, and it looks really nice on camera.
Yes, it really does. Tortilla says Ryan and Cam going to be working together by the end of the year. Sticky B, what you know about Sticky B? Sticky B says hump day, pay Buzz, cut Connor, trade Cam, and run with Y Black. Yeah, no, I was going to say that as well, Mike. Here's the thing. I don't think it's an issue. I really don't. I think it's more of an issue out here with us. But could cutting Connor be a move that they can make, Mike, in this situation with the deal and the contract? And is that a possibility, or is that crazy talk?
I'd love to see Connor Hayward cut. I would too. I'd love to see him gone. Anyone else can fill in what he does. He does make some plays on special teams. I can't remember the last time he made an offensive play, but
the thing about Cam, he's a utility knife, and it's nice to have that guy on the team. We've used him in just a handful.
Tight end, fullback, H-back type shit.
And in the tight end, fullback, halfback, H-back type shit, there's been times, Mike, when we needed 3 yards and we would hand it off, and they would not expect Connor Hayward to grab the handoff. He'd go opposite side when the play's going left, and he gets the 3-4 yards for a first down. It's just something that those utility kind of guys can do. And, if it's not going to be Cam Hayward, Mike, it's going to be somebody else. But I'm going to be honest with you, if his brother, wasn't on this team, he wouldn't be here still to this point, Mike. And I think he is in risk of not making a spot this year just because of the amount of skill players they brought in. They brought in tight ends. They brought, we got Kenneth Gainwell, another running back. So, he's kind of put in that position, Mike, where he might not make the 53-man roster here.
No, his production, peaked in 2023 with 23 catches, 167 yards. Last year, he had 6 catches for 40 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
And but again, his special teams, he's still good on special teams. He's been a consistent special teams guy. So that's what when someone's good and consistent on special teams, I'm not opposed to having them on the roster. But it just sucks that for the most part he's just on the team because of Cam.
John says the media needs clickbait for engagement time. Ain't that the truth? You wouldn't believe some of the crazy shit you see anymore on the internet. It's to the point where who's making this up, and why would you even put this on the internet? Some things are so outside of what's really going on.
Cam needed something for his podcast, so he created his own controversy.
Right.
All of his all the Steeler media was like, Cam, Daddy Cam, we need some stories. Can you create some drama for us?
Yeah, I guess I could ask for a new contract.
And
Let's do it on the way to Jacksonville.
And they all support him too.
Yeah. Tortilla says, you guys hear Rodgers talk about Connor. He gave more praise. He did. I mean, he goes on and on about Connor. But, I got to be honest with you. Is there anybody that Aaron Rodgers hasn't gone on and on about yet? No. Mr. PR, since he's been in Pittsburgh, Mike has done and said all the right things. It doesn't surprise me at all that he is praising Connor because, again, I haven't heard anyone that he hasn't praised, Mike. He goes on and on about Zach Frazier the whole way down the line. It really does. And, again, he, really expressed how he enjoyed himself in his time at the Pittsburgh Steelers training camp in Latrobe this year, Mike. Again, he's going to say all the right things the whole way through this ride. And especially, Mike, when we hit some bumpy roads along the way, I guarantee he's going to come out and say the right thing every time this year. He's that guy on the team. Mm-hmm. He's the leader of the offense, Mike. But I want to get to the guy on the other side of the field, the leader of the defense. Some might say that Mr. Jalen Ramsey, I think, is the unspoken leader of this defense because he's so outspoken, if you will. Mike, he's really bringing the attitude. He's bringing the mood to this Pittsburgh Steelers defense. And Jalen Ramsey, he's gone so far. And I was talking about how Aaron Rodgers really loved camp and really loved the Pittsburgh Steelers culture. Jalen Ramsey comes out and says this yesterday, Mike. He says, I got rid of my Rolls Royce and bought me a Ram truck. I'm ready to be a Yinzer. So they're buying in, Mike. And like I said, like we always say, Steelers generally don't handle their business like this, but I'm liking the guys coming and I'm liking them buying into Steeler culture. It just settles with the fans well. And it also gives you the idea maybe these guys, they sort of like to win for this city.
Yeah, and they brought in guys who were proven winners.
They do have the winner gene, Mike.
They have the winner gene. These guys have won. DK not as much, but I think he won a playoff game in Seattle. I hope he did. But no, Darius Slay and Jalen Ramsey, the two big guys that brought in defense, those guys were key players on their teams. Jalen Ramsey has been a star everywhere he's gone, wants to win everywhere he goes, and I like it. I like what he's saying about the different culture between here in Miami. He's like, no, here you can tell it's all business. It's football. The coach says what the coach says, and you listen to the coaches. You don't go pushing your coaches around here like you did down at Miami. And he's liking the tone the tone has been set in camp, and I think he's gonna have another monster year. I can't wait till he starts laying people out. So, but I'm liking what I'm hearing from these guys.
Absolutely.
Bought in is the key.
Good morning to Justin Arrington on board. Always great seeing Justin. Welcome, sir. He says, I prefer more incentive pay for people like Cam and his age. Want more, give more. Absolutely. That's my thing. He did. He excelled last year, and he had a season last year that was better than the previous couple, I would have to say, Mike. Obviously, and at the end of the day, now give me more. But at the end of the day, why can't we turn around to the 2 seasons where he underachieved and says, give us back our money, give us back our money? It don't play that way. I like what Justin's saying here, Mike. I think more contract work should be off of incentive pay. It's never going to happen. It doesn't benefit the players, and it obviously is going to cause a lot of problems. That be the case. But I love what Justin's saying here, Mike.
And that's what a lot of people are saying about Cam when he said, I'm coming back next year when I make all pro. We're going to talk about this. That should have been in your contract. That should have been part of the incentive in there. It's like, you reach Pro Bowl, you get paid this much. Everyone makes Pro Bowl at this point. So, okay, we'll give you that. You make all pro. Okay, well, there's an escalator in, and that's going to trigger a pay increase for next year. So, yeah, if they really laughed at you, Cam, it's because you and your agent were fucking morons. You should have had this in there. This is like negotiating. What you don't negotiate after you sign the contract.
Right.
You negotiate before.
Cam goes in and signs the paper and starts talking.
Starts setting terms there. Like, oh, we already got this.
This is what I want.
And like I said yesterday too, it would be different if this was he's coming down to the end of a big contract that he signed a while ago and has outperformed it.
Right.
You said
And that's not the
like
case.
this was him betting on himself, but also hedging his bets to where if I didn't play well, I at least got like a kind of a guarantee next year too. I'm going to make this money. So he was trying to have the best of both worlds. I don't blame him. You want to try and get the best of both worlds, but in sports contracts, man, that are not guaranteed, you have to pick one: security or upfront money. And he got and he kind of got security for having a longer term contract. And that was his trade off.
I would like to see again. I found it interesting the 2 prior years. I didn't think I was saying that Cam was on his downfall, Mike. He had the injury there for a while. He just wasn't putting up the numbers, and he wasn't certainly effective as he's been in the past. And last year he makes the comment to the media, or I'm sorry, to the team as he's finishing up his contract. I'm going to be back after I make the All-Pro team. So in his mind, he was able to have that kind of season. What happened to you the previous 2 years? You went into the season and thought, I'm going to underachieve this year. Maybe I'll have an injury and not do anything that's valuable to my team. So again, I hope, Mike, that he can continue what he did last year on the football field this year, because I do think the Steelers are going to pay him. They're going to figure something out. I don't think that they're not going to figure something out, Mike. And at the end of the day, again, I'm happy to see Y.A. Black the whole way through the preseason. I want to see more of them. I want to see more of these rookies. I want to see more of these new players. But at the end of the day, Mike, I think the contract gets taken care of. I kind of, again, it's kind of an issue that you don't want to be worrying about right now, especially after the offseason we just had, bringing in all these guys, going out and having a nice draft. Let's see everybody. Now we have to worry about Cam's contract. So, again, I have no problem with Y.A. Black. But again, on the other hand, Mike, I think they have Cam taken care of by September.
Yeah, they probably
one.
will. Yeah, game one, or they call his bluff and see if he's willing to miss game time in game checks. Play a little chicken.
Is this team willing to do that? Is this team willing to do that after all the the years of BS and this and that and the 13-0 and you lose the rest of your games? And last year we were a game out of 3/4 of the way through the season, a game away from the number 1 seed. Mike, is this team willing to play games when it's time to go at this point anymore? Again, we went through times we had left Bell and AB and Ben. We should have won. Or is this team just like, all right, let's buckle in and do what we got to do because we brought in a good team this offseason. Let's see what we can do. Or do you think that they would piss around with Cam like this?
It all depends if they want to hold steady to like, hey, this is when we negotiate contracts. We're not bending for anyone. And that's going to be the thing. I know they did it once with AB. They made an exception for AB, but AB literally was the best wide receiver at his position, or best player at his position, the best wide receiver in the league. And he was, considerably younger. Cam's a whole hell of a lot older. Cam is the highest paid player for anyone 35 and above in the NFL. And you had a chance to negotiate a contract where you could have had more money this year, or you could have did a 1-year deal and then force the Steelers to pay you more to keep you, or, left for another team. So it's like, you kind of did this to yourself. And that's just what's annoying to me because, I'm all for players getting what they can because, you can be cut at any moment. But like when you sign a deal like that, you kind of know, like, okay, I'm going to get paid this. And then next year I'm going to get paid that. If I'm still going well, that final year of the contract, they might be willing to tear it up.
Let's jump back on the board. Piece of special team starter is a middle-class crash test dummy. Just hope you don't get injured ever. Corey says, I watched a video earlier, and they were talking about Howard not being hurt that bad, and we could see him in the preseason. He's not in danger of losing his spot to Thompson. It was confirmed yesterday that he said it's not going to happen. Like, there's not going to be any surgery or anything of that matter. And it's actually so good, guys, that he's still participating in a lot of these drills. He goes out and let's see, I got my notes. Will Howard still trying to go through reps, even without being able to throw the ball, Mike. He goes out there as he would be getting ready to go behind the quarterback that he's behind. And he still walks through. I think that tells you a lot about the guy. The guy wants to get back out there. And not only does he want to get it back out there, Mike, he also says when asked about does he, how does it feel not playing? I know you're a football player, Mike. He says Will Howard says he would tear his left arm off to return to action for the Steelers. That's some big Ben shit because Ben literally got his nose relocated to a different part of his head, went back out there and still won a game. Like this is what you want to hear as a Steeler fan, what Will Howard has to say right now.
Yeah, you like the attitude. I just hope like when he gets the chance, the production can match the attitude. And like usually guys who have that plunky attitude, it's sometimes the talent isn't there because that's why they have that plunky attitude. They know they have to work harder than most. But hopefully when given his shot, he'll show through.
And to the latter part of the comment, Corey, about losing Thompson, I'm going to be honest with you. Thompson looked fantastic. But at the end of the day, everything that we did looked good. I just don't think that Jacksonville is a very good team, albeit they were a higher, second string guys for Pittsburgh was playing against first stringers for Jacksonville. I just don't think they were that good. The fact that Mason, the fact that Skyler both went out and looked, very Tom Brady-like throughout the course of this game tells me that the competition wasn't that great. However, I think that Thompson will be the odd man out when it finally comes, Mike, even though he did have a good game. We're going to see a bunch of Thompson this week. I promise you that against Tampa Bay. Yeah. But at the end of the day, unless they plan on keeping 4 quarterbacks, I personally don't think. I think Will Howard gets healthy just as time for the season starts. I think that's when they cut ways with Thompson to make the final 53. But you're right. At the end of the day, he had a great game, Mike. But I got to tell you, I don't know how much you could base off of that from preseason game 1 against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, and like you look at his track record too in the NFL, like the the limited action he saw when he was in Miami was not good against actual starter quality.
Right.
And there's a reason he was bouncing around and signed as the 4th quarterback here. But if he can resurrect his career, a team will see what he's doing. And like I said the other day, if we say, hey, we're gonna keep 4 quarterbacks, make a team trying to offer you something for him, even if it's low compensation. He might find a home in the NFL.
Mike made a good point to me yesterday. We were talking off the show, and he had said that, it's good that he's involved now because he, obviously was really successful the other night, but it's giving these guys who's trying to make the team, he's giving guys who are 3rd and 4th stringers a better opportunity opposed to when we were having the quarterback mess where guys were just totally off, the past 4 or 5 years. He was right on. And again, Mike, he's giving these younger receivers a better opportunity because he's playing so well. Where in the past, receivers had a hard time even getting the ball thrown to them.
Yep.
So again, I think it's beneficial in many ways. If they do keep 4, they keep 4. I just personally don't think they will, but if they do, that's fine with me. But again, we're going to see a lot of Thompson again Saturday, and there's no guarantees we could walk away from the game on Saturday saying, this is the real Skylar Thompson, or
right.
Whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So
we're going to see Mr. 58% completion percentage guy. 1 touchdown, 3 picks in real live action. So hey, if he can do what he needs to do in this preseason, be that guy that makes everyone else look better, so you can get a good evaluation of it. Of everyone, that's a good investment,
and it helps his cause as well, Mike. As other teams look to round out their roster and grab a third string guy. So we'll keep an eye on him. And again, best of luck to him. If he ends up on our squad, good for him. If not, you wish him the best. But Corey does say that he is really rooting for that kid. And he seems like a good kid.
Good kid. He's pushing 30.
Yeah, well, to me, everybody's a kid.
I know, right? Well, you are old as fuck.
Tortilla says going from Mike McDaniel to Mike Tomlin would make you buy a Ram too. Let's see. Sticky B. What you know about Sticky B? Sticky B says this defense is built to break bodies this year. No one will be safe, Mike. And that is what Juan Thornhill said. He said he came out to set the tone the other day at Jacksonville when he lays that lick over the middle, Mike. And I'm really excited about seeing this defense play. I'm really excited. And we're going to see some starters this week because I seen JPJ commented, Mike, he cannot wait. He cannot wait to play against Mike Evans. So this tells me that we're going to see starters on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's gonna excite Steeler fans even more this weekend, Mike, at home. Got starters playing again 1 week closer to the regular season, and JPJ cannot wait to face off against Mike Evans.
I like that. I like that Mike Evans is future Hall of Famer. And he's towards the end of his career, but he's still a damn good receiver. Give you a nice little gauge of how well you're faring going into the season. And back to the secondary, dude, hurting people. There are some hitters back there. Thornhill, Ramsey, Chuck Clark. There's guys out there that are not afraid to jack you up. I like a good physical secondary.
This has got to be one of the better Steelers secondaries that I've seen in my life. Again, I'm old, but I'm not that old. I didn't get to enjoy the 70s teams, but in my life, As far as secondaries, this may be, if not the best, one of the best secondaries I've seen. A lot of people are always going to refer back to Rod Woodson, Carnell Lake, Darren Perry's defense. But Mike, at the end of the day, it's got to be up there. You got Jalen Ramsey, again, at his age, he's still one of the best cornerbacks of his era, of his generation of players. And say what you will, he hasn't lost so much to where you're going to say, this guy's over the hill. He really is. He makes a difference still, Mike, up until this point in his career. So I'm happy about that. Again, Darius Slay coming from the Super Bowl champions. You like that. And then Joey Porter Jr. Really coming along as that cornerstone in the secondary that we drafted him to be, Mike. I feel that this is one of the better secondaries. And then, I mean, you take Minkah Fitzpatrick, which would have put the icing on the cake for my statement. But the guys that are behind, the guys that are stepping in his spot, Mike, Juan Thornhill, we're going to see more of Chucky Clark this weekend. Guys like this, if they can step it up and play at that high level the way Thornhill looked the other night and continue to play like that, Mike, this secondary is going to win us some football games throughout the course of this season and maybe even into January as well.
Oh, yeah. And I'm looking for, like, splash plays galore out of this secondary. And Jalen Ramsey, he showed on film last year, like, he still has the ability to make up for, like, getting beat on a move or just that closing speed. He still has it. He still has a way of getting onto these guys. You think you're open, next thing you know, he's there breaking up passes or they're just interrupting the route to where the quarterback has to change their mind at the last second. I think he's going to have another damn good year. That's why, I want Cam to come back, because you get these older guys that can still play at a high level. Shit, man, this defense is primed and ready to go. And the offense, albeit, it was the preseason, but you like what you see from this offense of how they're going to move the ball and spread the ball around. They finally have a complete team, it feels like. I would say at least 6-7 years, this is now a complete team, front to back.
Let me move on. Lewis Cleaves, welcome to the board, Lewis. I think we've seen Lewis before. I hope I'm pronouncing your last name correctly. Lewis says, why you can't negotiate when you already signed a contract. Owners cut players during the season after they sign a contract also. I mean, that's true. I don't think it's the case of that, though, guys. I just think that for fans, it was almost kind of the way that it was thrown on us.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Mike, if there was other football stories to talk about today and yesterday, I wouldn't have talked about the Cam Hayward contract situation as much. But you know what? It's what was going on, and people were talking about it. And again, I think it just kind of rubbed people the wrong way, the way that it played out. We didn't know about this until the guys literally there's shots on Twitter of them getting on the airplane to go to Jacksonville last week, and this is when we are starting to hear this. So as a fan, you're trying to put all the pieces together, and here they go. The guys are on their way down to play their first preseason game. We built this great, we brought in all these players, Mike, in the offseason. Everybody's fired up as they're getting on the plane, on the runway. It's moving. Oh yeah, by the way, Cam Hayward wants a new contract. I just think the way that it played out ultimately is why it kind of bugs people, Lewis. But at the end of the day, like I said, he's going to get paid. It's not my money. Give the guy money and figure out what you got to figure out. Get it done, and let's get ready by the time we play the Jets in week 1, Mike.
Yeah, let's get it done, get it taken care of, and move on. Get Boss signed. Two guys that, Boss definitely deserves it. He is the best kicker in the league, most dependable kicker in the league. And came out
talking about somebody that isn't,
he kind of fucked up.
Talking about somebody who gets taken for granted and isn't getting paid to their value.
Yeah.
How many times has Cam put any points on the board when, again, Chris Boswell is becoming, I don't know where he's at on the list, but he's certainly getting close to the top in the all-time Steeler points scored, talking about being an undervalued player in an undervalued position. If we're going to talk about value, let's talk about the guy that actually has the more value on this team. He's getting paid just a fraction of what Cam Hayward is getting, Mike. So again, it all comes down to how you feel about those kind of things. I think the kickers should be getting paid a lot more money than what they get paid. They only come in and play this, they play that. But you know what? If Cam Hayward makes 3 plays a game, that could equal Chris Boswell's 3 field goals a game that are ultimately what wins you the game. So again, Mike, I'm sorry to cut you off on that.
No, and Boss has literally won us games. Boss has, unlike Cam Hayward and TJ Watt, Boss has produced in the playoff when we've been into the playoffs. And to me, those are big things. Like, you're going to get paid a lot of money. You have to produce in the playoffs. And that's why I think, like with Cam, like, one, you signed a 3-year deal when you could have just signed a 1. and then you want to come out and renegotiate after without having stuff built into your contract. Boz, I kind of get where he's coming from because, he's signed this contract a few years ago, getting towards the end. But, the Steelers have the way of doing business. They don't like to negotiate this far out. And I think on both, unfortunately, they might stick to their guns and be like, all right, guys, we're going to call your bluff. Do you want to play or not?
Mike, let me just grab this information here about Jalen Ramsey before we do move on from Ramsey and company. Ryan Clark was talking about Mike Tomlin's plans to use Ramsey all over the place, using him in the nickel, using him at safety, using him at corner. And this is what Ryan Clark said. Now, Ryan Clark, obviously Super Bowl winner in the defensive backfield himself, Mike. He said that Jalen Ramsey, the way this is playing out, reminds him a lot of Rod Woodson and Charles Woodson. Not a bad company to be compared with. Again, Ryan Clark has a valuable opinion. People listen to him talk every day. Mike, Jalen Ramsey, like Rod Woodson and Charles Woodson. I love hearing that as a Steelers fan.
Oh, me too. And those guys did it, because they had to, because their career, they still weren't high-level corners. They were better at safeties. With Jalen Ramsey, it's a luxury we're able to do that because we have Porter and Slade to where now we can move them around. And if we have to, we can just play him a whole game at corner. We're not going to miss a beat. And it's nice to be able to move him around. You kind of be like how Troy was back there. He may be lining up here, but is that where he's going to end up?
Yeah.
You disguise him that way. Not give him the free reign that Troy had, because no one in a secondary knew how a play was going to go before it happened. Like Troy and Ed Reed, those two are two of the special safeties of their era. I don't know if Jalen has that feel, just not being able. I haven't watched him as much as those two guys, obviously, but design plays where he starts here, but he actually goes out and is the safety, and someone else comes over, covers the receiver. Confuse defenses that way. Use him that way too, not just kind of like Troy did, but still line them up in all different places. I'm excited to see how that plays out.
Tortilla replies to Lewis's comment. Tortilla says you can, but you have no leverage, especially at Cam's age. If he sits out to secure a better bag for the future, he risks ending his career, not even playing out the contract on his that he is on. And again, Mike, at the end of the day, if it came down to it, and this goes bad with Cam, which I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to call it. It's not. They're going to get this figured. They're going to get something figured out for Cam. And but I would have no problem with Y.A. Black getting mad time this year, Mike. He's going to be on that. He's a piece of the future of that defensive line, and everything that we're seeing from him early is so encouraging. Mike, again, if we had to play this season, switching between some guys, Y.A. Black and a few other guys, you know what? I wouldn't have the biggest problem, because at the end of the day, even the great season, the all-pro season, we'll call it, that Cam had last year, Mike, they still managed to get the ball shoved down his throat and shoved back all day long when it came to January. When we played Baltimore for the third time, a team that you're very prepared to play, he still goes out there and the ball gets shoved down his throat all day long, Mike. So at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. And if it comes down to it being those other guys, it can't be any worse than that. If they get shoved around all day in January, it wouldn't be any different than what Cam Hayward, who's getting paid, mega buku bucks, is doing. So either way works for me. Either they'll get it figured out, cool. If they don't, I'm cool with the younger guys, Mike.
Yeah, me too. It kind of quasi similar to last year, when we had Mason McCormick was going to be viewed as that guy to take over for James Daniels because his contract was expiring. He got hurt, and we thrust McCormick in there, and that was for the better of the team. It forced him to accelerate his development. And you know what? If Cam, like he was teasing, holding out games, okay, we'll put Y.A. Black there. That's only going to benefit Y.A. Black and the team in the long run. It might hurt us a little in the short term, kind of have to adjust our game plan and what we wanted to do, but there's still a shit ton of playmakers out on that team.
Yeah, I mean, you got to wonder, Mike, is there anybody out there calling for a 36-year-old defensive lineman to come play on their squad? We'll pay you some money.
Yeah. And he only played 71% of the snaps last year.
Yeah.
And that's down considerably from his peak. He used to be playing 80 to 85% of the snaps. Now he's down to 71. Now, I like that, because now you're part of a rotation. You're going to be fresher, but you're working less and wanting more money. That is the dream for everyone. But come on now, you're not out there snap after snap like we see some of these guys.
Not for me. My dream is to work with the person with the most wonderful mullet in the world. And you know what? My dreams are true every day right here on the show. Let's jump back on the board, Mike. Let's go to John. John says Rooney with his Mr. Rogers sweater will fold when it comes to Cam. And he might. And you know what? At the end of the day, let's get this show let's get it together, guys. Let's focus on the Jets. We got the Jets in a couple weeks here, and this is what it's all about. You worked all off season. Let's not F it up now when we're right at the doorstep of the season. Tortilla says we want volunteers, not hostages. Corey says, so it sounds like Cam would play hard when the highest paying years of his contract were in front of him. And then when they were behind him, he gave less effort and then got a new contract. Mike, I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say this. I think this is, whether it's intentional or not, this is what happened. This is what happened. I mean, he gets the big contract. He goes, I'm going to go out and be an all-pro this year. And I'm going to prove you wrong. And when I do, I'm coming back for a raise. And guess what? He went out and did it. Where was that the previous 2 years, Mike? You see this a lot in the NFL. And again, TJ Watt, he got his sack record on his contract season last time around. Got the 22.5 sacks. So you can't say that this don't happen. I mean, I guess we're human and we're motivated by money, but you would like to see them spread it out over a couple of years, just like the money. You don't take the money and spend it,
Like if I was the Steelers, I'm like, give me one more All-Pro season, and we'll make you a happy guy.
That's what you said. Give me an All-Pro season this year, and I'll give you all that money you want.
Yeah. Like, hey, you want to play this game? Well, we can play with you. Give us another All-Pro year to let us know, hey, you still have at 36 years of age, you're going to be our Sidney Crosby, getting better with age, still be that guy, and we'll happily pay you.
Otherwise, he'll underachieve and get the mad amount of money. Let's be fair. Let's be fair. Go out and do it and get paid what you're worth. I don't know. Call me crazy.
Like, and he's like, if he was this guy who has been in the league, been a consistent player, and then had these breakout years, okay, I would be all for get your hell yeah. Now hey, I've been a loyal soldier. I've been busting my ass for you. You really haven't paid me. But when you made $134 million in your career, you can't say the team hasn't valued you.
Yeah,
They value you a lot. They could have cut you after the 2023 season. They did not. They gave you a contract that's, that gave you stability, knowing where, okay, at least for the next 2 years, you're going to be here. And it's just
Mike, do you agree with me? Do you think that the reason this is an issue to most fans is, again, because we're ready for football?
Yeah. It's right around the corner.
A million things that went on during this offseason. You got to admit, I mean, the drafts, the free agencies, losing players, gaining players, bringing guys in. I mean, there's been a ton of things that happen. And I think just the average fan is just annoyed by this. And this is not what you want to hear at this particular point of the season. I want to hear that Cam Hayward is looking good at camp. I want to hear good scoop about Cam Hayward day in, day out, and players like him. I don't want to hear about he's sitting out because of his contract that he technically just did last year. And again, you're going to come. People are going to come out with all the schematics. Yeah, well, it's this and this year, and things got the amount goes up. And that's fine. I don't care. That whatever. It's the fact that it's happening right now. I think is the point. And fans like myself and you and everybody in the board, they're ready for football. And at the last moment, the fact that you drag out this Cam Hayward contract, this is why people were irritated.
Yeah, and it's the way he did it. And then after saying, with the whole Aaron Rodgers stuff in the offseason of you either want to be a Steeler or not, like,
come on, yeah.
Like I am a big hypocrite. I admit it. Like, Cam probably doesn't even realize he is being hypocritical in this situation. It's like, do you want to be here or not? Like, I want you here after we saw you have a nice bounce back year. We want you here. Cam, like the team wants you here, the organization wants you here, and they've paid you fairly. So get out there. Let's do this. You talk about wanting to be a Steeler great and be mentioned amongst the greats. What do the greats have that you don't have, Cam? They got rings. They got rings. Like you walk past 6 Lombardis every day. You look on the walls and there's Mean Joe Green. He won in the postseason camp. Like you gotta win me some postseason games. That's what I would say if I was Omar Khan. Perform in the playoffs, and I'll give you everything.
I got to be honest with you. I got to say that's kind of an unfair thing because when you have,
I know it's a team effort.
It really is. I mean, football is one of the greatest team sports.
Yeah.
And yes, his statistics aren't great, but even if they were great, I don't think. I mean, this team is not just losing by 3 points in the playoffs. The 1 year against Jacksonville, they did, but you know what? They're giving up a lot of points, and that has a lot more to do than with just a tackle. So I always hate that argument. But at the end of the day, when you look at the statistics and you're going to say, "What did you do in the playoffs?" It was nothing, Mike. It really was nothing. And what? I don't have his numbers in front of me, but what he has 1 win. Is that what it was? He's on one winning team.
1-8.
1-8. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to look at that and you're going to say, well, you didn't perform in the playoffs. But I hate to blame it on one guy. It certainly wasn't his fault. Mike,
1 sack.
We let up a lot of points. Even if he would have had 10 sacks, we still letting up 40 points a game. I don't know if that shrinks the margin enough to get us in those particular games. But again, this conversation, it really bores me, Mike. Let's move on. I'm that's what it comes down to. People are just irritated with this conversation, and that's why people are kind of being assholes online. And we want to focus on football. We want Cam to focus on football. I know he's
distractions.
I know he's a veteran. I know he's 100 years old and blah blah blah. But you know what? At the end of the day, you still need to get out there and go through the motions at some point. Maybe there's something that you just have to sharpen your skills, just like anything else, Mike. So I think that's why people are irritated. Let's get this show on the road. Get these guys figured out so we can focus on football again, because that's why we tune in. I'm sure most people do.
Like we had a drama-free training camp,
right?
For the first time in a long time, and like, God damn it, Cam.
Corey Beaver says my boss would have fired me for that shit. You know what, Corey? You give me that boss. I'll talk to that guy, Mister. You don't worry about it.
Yeah, your boss is an asshole.
Just in case his boss is listening, that was Mike that said that. But you hand that over to us, Corey. We'll take care of you, sir. We'll get you that $13 million that you're hunting for. Tortilla says, aren't we allowed to have a fourth quarterback who isn't a part of the 53-man roster, like an emergency QB? I mean, we could put him on the practice squad, can't we, Mike? If we would want to. I mean,
I don't know, because of his age and experience in the league. There's service time and exemptions, like you have to meet to be onto the practice squad, and I don't know if he would make it into the practice squad.
So you don't know if it's a possibility?
I don't know if it's a possibility. No.
Okay. Vegas, what's good, brother? Always great seeing Vegas on the board, my man. Tortilla also says it's also the fact that Cam himself came out and said he's tired of the Rodgers BS, and you either want to be a Steeler or not, just to turn around and say he's sitting out for more money. You're right. These are the things that are pissing people off, I think. And again, if it was kind of done in a timely manner, maybe we wouldn't have been as pissed off. But again, Mike, I learned it. I literally seen a picture of the guys getting on the plane to go to Jacksonville, and then the very next post I seen was talking about Cam's contract. Yeah. So, one hand, I'm ready to go. It's go time. Let's do this. Get preseason started. And then again, the very next breath, Cam Hayward now has contract issues. So, I don't think I don't think a lot of people have a problem with them making more money. I don't see why they would. Again, I think it's more outside, Mike. I think it's just isn't what we want to hear right now.
Yeah. And for like people around the team are saying, like, the players, they're used to, stuff like this. So they're not, to them, it's not a distraction. And I think it's a distraction to the fans.
Absolutely. And you know what? Fans are a big part of football in here in Pittsburgh. And let's continue, Mike. I'm sure we'll get more Cam stuff on the board. Tortilla says, so according to Cam himself, he doesn't want to be a star. You know what? Technically, the point that you're trying to drive across, yes, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Tortilla also says, Boz is also 43 points away from being our all-time leading scorer with plenty of years left to do so. His worth a few extra bucks. Boz is consistent, never hurt. Can't say the same about Cam. It's just it's the culture of football. For whatever reason, that will never be. It certainly hasn't been in my lifetime. I don't know if it will never be. But the kickers are almost a sub football player. They're inferior to everybody else on the 53-man roster. But again, this person could make or break every single game that you play in, Mike, just from the extra points that follow every touchdown and the big field goal in the big moment with all the pressure in the world, millions of people watching in a big game and 50,000 people screaming at the top of their lungs, and you got to kick that ball from 60 yards away to win a football game. So again, I just overall, I don't think it makes any sense. I think the good kickers should certainly be in a higher pay range, Mike, especially because the good ones, all the way up until last year with Justin Tucker, of course, Chris Boswell, Aubrey down in Dallas. There's a handful of these guys that probably should be making a lot more money than they make.
I think so too. Like, because people will, like you said, they'll take the kicker for granted up until they miss.
Talking about taking somebody for granted, right? I mean, that's what Cam's saying.
Like, oh, these kickers, they suck. Oh my God, my kicker just won me 3 games this year. Oh my God, without him, we wouldn't be here. But here's some table scraps for you.
Yeah.
You when you have a bad kicker, you worry about extra points. You worry about any type of field goal. But when you have a good, dependable kicker, a great kicker, you don't worry at all. That's like a safety valve. Like, oh, we can be aggressive here because we know this guy's going to hit this field goal for us. We don't have to try and get him into range. We can
Let me ask you this,
take a shot
Mike.
for a touchdown.
Do you remember the years that we struggled finding field goal kickers?
Uh-huh.
Do you remember Chris Brown couldn't make a field goal to save his life? Do you remember Peterson came in after him and he looked good for a first day and then he couldn't make a field goal? We went through about a half a dozen kickers just to find a guy that was able to kick a semi-far field goal. Mike, those guys are way taken for granted. If you're going to use those words as Cam did, Mike, the kickers are certainly taken for granted in the NFL. And again, Mike, they can make and break any game, at any time, and you rely on them, and you just expect they're going to go out there and make that kick. That's what being taken granted is. It actually means. What it means on Cam's end, I'm not quite sure what he's trying to say. But we are going to move forward a little bit here, Mike, on the board. Tortilla says 48 points, not 43, so 48 till he gets that record. He gets that this year, I think, easily.
Easily.
John says Sam Darnold won the Super Bowl in the last 2 plays of the game against the Bengals. Showing up in the big games does matter to me. Tortilla says trade Cam for Trey Hendrickson and let Daniel Akule wear 97. Cody says I work in the oil field where everyone is an asshole. Yeah, I've been in them jobs. No 2 ways about that, man. Tortilla says Sam Darnold won the Super Bowl. That wasn't who he's talking about, Mike. He's talking about
Aaron Donald.
Okay. Corey Beaver says I'm not greedy. I'll take $1 million. I can't make that shit work. I can make that shit work. And you know what? That's why I said Mike was the one who was bad mouthing your boss, because if Corey gets in trouble because of you, Mike, I just want to let him know that.
Well, Steeler Freak has a solution, and I'm all for it.
All right. Let me move on. Let's see. John says we need to get D-Roy to take Corey's boss's wife's doggy doggy style and put it on the web. All right, John might have the answer too. So
yeah, we're gonna fly Derpy in, and he's gonna do some things with Corey's boss's wife.
Oh, talking about devastating. You had a Derpy. Jamal, what's up, my man? Always great seeing you on the board, sir. You're welcome. Sticky B, what you know about Sticky B? Sticky B says, what games this season would the Steelers have to win to really switch the mindset to a Super Bowl contender? Well, I mean, you got your you got obviously your 2 Baltimore games. They're certainly going to be important in that conversation, Mike. You got Detroit, you got Buffalo.
Yep.
Green Bay is going to be good. Minnesota should be, in theory, a good game, and it's overseas, so that's kind of an unpredictable situation for no real home team in that sense. I forget who we get out of the West, Mike, but we have the AFC East out of that division. Buffalo. We
have the Chargers.
And the Chargers, Mike, I think the Chargers are going to be damn good. I think they're challenging Kansas City for that AFC West this year. All the work that the Chargers put into that football team, Mike, I'm telling you, if Kansas City doesn't get all the calls, I think the Chargers give them a run for their money in the AFC West.
They might. I know they just had that big injury on their offensive line, so they're part of their strength. Their 2 tackles are the ones hurt. Rashawn Slater, their starting left tackle, he's done for the year, so they're forcing their right tackle to play left tackle,
Boy,
And
that
Joe
sounds
Alt,
familiar.
yeah, Joe Alt going from right to left. He was a dominant right tackle last year's rookie year. How's he going to do at left tackle? And I will laugh my ass off if he does well.
I'm going to tell you what, Sticky B. I got to be honest with you, Sticky B. I think that winning any of those kind of games is always going to be a very big positive for people looking at what you're saying, being a Super Bowl contender, being able to be successful in the playoffs. We have to show the ability to beat good teams. And that's a problem that we've been having over the past few years. Again, Philadelphia last year was a big game. We go out and lay an egg. Kansas City last year was a big game. We go out and lay an egg. Baltimore down the stretch. We beat them the first time because Justin Tucker missed 2 field goals and an extra point. But the second time around, you lose that game. The year before, Mike, you come out and lay an egg to San Francisco in the opening game of the season.
Yeah.
So you got to find ways to beat those teams that you're going to see in January. And that's going to be the thing that changes people's minds, Sticky, because again, if you lose all those games during the regular season and hope to make a run in January against those caliber teams, it's highly unlikely. They have to figure out ways to win the big game. They got to figure out ways to beat Detroit, Buffalo. Baltimore's always going to be Baltimore, but you know how that plays out. And the Chargers, Mike, and maybe a couple other teams, as we said, Green Bay, Minnesota. So they have to win some of these games to answer the question. They got to show us, right? They got to show us that they
have to. Yeah,
they can hang. I think with this secondary, this makes me feel really optimistic because all these teams is going to require you to have a good secondary, and we got to. Again, one of the better secondaries on paper that I've seen.
On paper, by far one of the best secondaries in the NFL.
Jamal says, I think the Cam move is brilliant and deserves it. Plus, we need him. He's our best DT. Listen, I want him out there too. I do. I want the best possible players in their positions on that football field when the time comes to play meaningful games. When it all's said and done, whatever contract talk, dispute, controversy, I want the best 22 guys. And if that's Cam, I want Cam. And I just think people are irritated because everyone's ready for football. It was a long off season. Everybody couldn't wait to get the draft. We got to the draft. Everybody couldn't wait to get the free agency. We got the free agency. Everybody couldn't wait to get the training camp. We got the training camp. Everyone can't wait to play games, and Cam Hayward has a contract issue. That's all I'm saying. So, again, I think it's all going to be all right in the long run, but it's just a bit irritating now, and people don't want to see things that are distractions. We kind of want to get that out of our system, I think, Mike. No distractions. Keep the injuries to a minimum this year was 2 of my keys early on to having a successful season for the Steelers this year. Cody says, I know we were having fun taking shots at Cam, but people ran over our defense when he wasn't on the field last year when Cam came out. The other teams ran the ball and succeeded. I mean, it's true.
Well, they ran him over too when he was out
they
there.
did run him over as well. We both got to agree to that. I agree with what Cody's saying, but on the other hand, he did get ran over a lot as well, Mike. Go back to any of the final 5 games of the season. He didn't look that great, in my opinion. And again, those are the games that matter. Those are the games that are going to change people's minds. Don't let Baltimore run the ball down your throat in January. People aren't going to say these things. Tortilla says, Sticky, Bills and Ravens. And the thing about the Ravens, it's hard to say, Tortilla, because, even when the Ravens are Super Bowl winners and they're dominant, we still get wins. And even when we win the Super Bowl, the Ravens still beat us. So, that's always going to be a team that the Steelers know how to beat. They do. They're going to win them all? No. They're going to lose them all? No. But, Mike, you got to remember, going into last season, the Steelers won 8 straight against Baltimore. So we can't look at this team as all of a sudden because they beat us in the playoffs that they're superior. They're not. We just beat this team 8 games in a row going into last season. Like, our first game last year against them was the 8th win in a row against Baltimore. Then they beat us the second time, and then they beat us in the playoffs. So I think that's on people's minds. People are giving Baltimore more. They deserve a lot of credit, Mike. They got a great team, but the Steelers are the team that's best equipped to beat the Ravens. Nobody knows that team better than we do.
Yeah, it's always a slugfest when the Steelers or Ravens get together. Up until that playoff game, every game has been decided by 3 points, 7 points at most. And that was the outlier. Well, it was that game right there. So I think we bounce back against them big time this year.
Like I said, it's gonna be Ravens Steelers. I don't think they're gonna come out and dominate us every time they play us. I know they dominated us in January, but again, we had 8 straight, just 2 games prior to that against them. So they don't worry me. It's always going to be a good game, Mike, but I always give us an opportunity. I always give us a chance when we play Baltimore, no matter what the situation. Again, when they had that terrible defense, or when they had that great defense back in 2000, I think we lost to them one game like 9-6 or something like that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
There
was a close game.
With these 2 teams, you just never know. I don't ever count us out against the Ravens, even when they were better than us the past few years, having the league MVP, Mike, going back a few. We were still managed to be able to beat this team 8 games in a row.
Yeah.
That's something. Got to keep that in mind, guys. Where am I at here? Where am I at here? So Jamal says, I think Cam. Okay, we got that one. We got Cody. Okay, Jen. What's up, Jen? Always great seeing Jen on the board. Cody says, haha, punters. So there was that one guy that shanked the ball all the time.
Josh Miller.
Oh, yeah. What was it? The 12-yard punt, and Bill Cowher smacked every player running down the sideline just to get to Josh Miller. Spit was flying. The hands were flying. Players were flying out of the way. It was like something you'd see in a movie.
Yeah.
But it was funny because Josh Miller, actually, you seen him see coach, and then he went totally the opposite
direction. Well, hell yeah. What are you? When you fuck up at work, you go run to the boss.
Yeah,
hey,
right.
boss, I fucked up.
Look at me.
You're like, oh shit, I'm just gonna hang out here. Maybe he'll forget about it,
Yeah. Sticky says that. Tortilla Jackson. Yeah, the Bills have been a monkey on our back for a while. That would be awesome. Boy, a win over Buffalo this year would really put a lot of confidence in not only the fans but the team. Like, I think the Buffalo game is big this year. This is just a game you can't go out and shit the bed as you did against Philadelphia last year, as you did against San Francisco the year before. Like, you just can't go out and shit the bed against Buffalo. You want to beat them, but if you don't beat them, don't get your ass kicked. That's all.
Yeah, and I think this version of Buffalo is a very beatable team.
I do too. This is not the same. Like, a lot of people are saying that their window is closed. I don't think it's closed because they have Josh Allen. But I do think that they are not as good as they've been in the past, Mike. I think we can beat them. And again, if you don't win, make it a football game. You don't want to lose by 20, 25 points like you did to Philadelphia and other teams. So those are just some things that I think Mike would go a long way for the team mentally if they could beat Buffalo in the regular season this year.
Yeah, and like their receiving core, like you look at their names, like no one like jumps off the page.
Who are
like,
these guys?
Like Khalil Shakir. I like him. He's a very good shifty slot receiver. But Keon Coleman he didn't do a whole lot last year. Joshua Palmer, Elijah Moore, Curtis Samuel, they're guys. Is what they are. They have a lot of guys, but it's the way they run that offense. Josh Allen running, James Cook running, and then you spread it out between Dalton Kincaid, who's a pretty good tight end, and then these receivers who are just a group of guys. We said we don't have a number 2. Like, they don't even have a number 1, but they make it work. Why? You got Josh Allen back there running the show, and a damn good run game too, and you can make it work.
Yeah, I like Buffalo, Mike, and people are telling me that their window closed. I don't buy it.
I don't think it has.
I just don't think it has, because that just leaves basically Baltimore. Because, again, Kansas City's a team that isn't that great. They didn't score over 31 points all regular season last year. They just seem to get a lot of help at the right times. Mike, if that gets eliminated, again, even if it is just happening on accident, you figure at some point they're not going to get the ball go in their favor. And maybe that loss to Philadelphia was maybe the turning of the bend of where KC might just not be in our face every year. We'll have to wait to see. Depends on what you think, guys. But again, I can't imagine Buffalo is not in the top 3 conversation in the AFC.
Yeah, just because of their quarterback, their defense isn't what it once was. But they still have some pretty good guys up front. Their secondary wasn't as strong as it once was, but they have a pretty good front 7 to where I think they should be okay.
Kenneth, what's up, my man? Always great seeing Kenneth on the board. John said the last playoff game the Steelers won in 2016 against the Chiefs, Boz kicked 6 field goals. Yeah. So, do what you want with that. Without that guy, you didn't win that football game. Corey says, none of us want that. I wouldn't do that to anyone.
Well, you don't want Derpy, and your boss's wife.
Yeah, that is getting a little extreme once you throw Derpy in there, Mike. John says, sorry, Aaron Donald. Thanks for the correction. Now, Mike got you on that one, brother. No problem.
All good, brother. All good.
Tortilla says that Cody, that's true, but Cam is also 36, so he's going to continue to have to come off the field, and then it doesn't matter. None of the defensive tackles who make more than Cam are older than 34, 35 years old. Is he underpaid then? Tortilla says can't pay Cam more money if it's going to if he's going to play less. He's not wrong, Mike. I mean, there's when it comes down to it, a lot of things should be looked at into this.
Like as just like a fan of wanting them to put the best guys out there. It's not my money, so I don't give a fuck.
Right.
As thinking it as like how to build the team and what they're doing in their mindset, I get where they're coming from. And then, like him and Bob's are like, hey, you can go kick rocks. This is the way we do business. We've paid you guys enough. But, part of me wants to give them their money because it's not my money.
I know. Mike, do you take when you're playing Madden? Don't you take the money and give it to the guys to get them on your team because you don't care because it's not yours and it's not real? Right.
But at the same time, putting myself in their mindset, I see where everyone's coming from. And my thing is I want what's best for the team. And right now it is to tell these guys to just get your asses here and start playing.
Cody says, I'm not making any excuses for losing those last 6 games, but our schedule was some bullshit to many. You know what, Cody? I agree. Listen, but I also disagree in a sense. Baltimore had the same schedule, and Kansas City also had the same schedule.
Yeah.
We had 3 games in 11 days, but those same 4 teams had those same 3 games or something like that. And we weren't, and the fact that we shit the bed and Kansas City was able to win through and Baltimore was able to win through, in those same situation, those are teams that are prepared for playoff runs. The way that we ran into, because what those games were, it was a playoff run. I said to Mike, I was like, this is going to give you an idea if we're a playoff team or not. Going into those 3 games, let's see how we play against these playoff teams in a row as we would in January. You might get a Sunday, then you might get a Saturday, which is a short week. So we'll take, obviously the short weeks, Mike, is the main point of this topic. But again, you play those 3 teams, you didn't beat any of them. And that to me, Cody, is the difference in this. If they would have looked like they belonged for any of those 3 games, yes, they played 3 in 11 days or whatever it was. But again, so did Baltimore, so did Kansas City. And one of those teams ended up playing in February. So again, we should be better this year, Mike, to handle games in the regular season against those kind of teams. Again, I could see this team beating a Buffalo this year or getting that win against Detroit where a lot of people are going to put us as underdogs.
Oh, yeah. I think this team is much better than what we saw last year. And, the players didn't use that as an excuse. The coaches didn't use it as an excuse. Let's get their asses beat.
I mean, it was shitty. Don't get me wrong. It's a
sucks.
shitty schedule. But, again, if it wasn't the other teams weren't involved as well, I would run with what you're saying. I would have done it all off season, and I would have complained ad nauseum to
but we weren't the only team. Yep.
But we weren't the only team. And the teams that the other teams that were involved, they were getting to the championship game. They were getting to the Super Bowl. So, again, it just was more of a reflection of us, the way that things went last year in that final part of the season. Let's see. Tortilla says, I agree. I want him here, but he doesn't want to be here, so be it. John says, Cody, the Steelers weren't the only team. Okay, with such a schedule. But it's not a bad argument. I mean, that's a shitty schedule. There's no 2 ways about that. It just played out that we didn't do as well as the other teams that were involved. Tortilla says it's going to be another classic 14-13 Steeler, more than likely. And I was telling Mike yesterday, look at all the weapons that both teams got. You remember they were out buying Jair Alexander, and they were out grabbing this guy and that guy. Every time you turned around, they were adding somebody to that defense on top of a team that already has an MVP on playing quarterback, a team that already has Derrick Henry. Mike, these are going to be some classic games this year, as always. But all the people that Pittsburgh brought in as well, and all the people that Baltimore, DeAndre Hopkins, old, but again, it's going to be a lot of big names, Mike.
Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, 2 tight ends that can kill you across the middle of the field where we have trouble against. And they still have some really good players on the defense. Like, I'm interested to see Malachi Starks, the safety from Georgia. I think he was a steal. You put him and Kyle Hamilton back there. Forget about Jair Alexander. Their safeties might be the best safety tandem in the NFL in a year or two. So, like, it's going to be a fun matchup going up against Baltimore this year. I can't wait. I want to play 17 games against the screw it, because that's what the AFC North comes down to. Is it's going to be the Steelers and the Ravens. 17 games scheduled between the two of them. They'll both be dead by the time we make the playoffs, but by God, it'll be some fun football.
Be the toughest motherfuckers out there after those 17
and then
games.
And then after those 17 games, you just build a super team, and that's who's going to
take the best of both worlds.
Exactly. And still lose in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah. Come down to all field goals. Cody says, do you guys know that the Ravens have the most rest time in between games, as well as traveling the least amount of miles? Yeah, no, I know. I know.
Them's the breaks.
They're it's a pendulum in our division, Mike.
Yeah.
It's either us or them, and every once in a while sprinkle in a little bit of Cincinnati, but we beat them 8 times. They beat us a couple. Let's get back at it this year. This year's all we can do.
Yeah.
Jamal said, watched YA Black highlights. That boy is going to be better than Harmon. You know what, man? I hope so. If they got the future of our defensive line in this year's draft, Mike, with Harmon and YA Black, you gotta really feel good about that, considering the plan was to go in and work on interior line offense and defense through the draft and build both of them. Mike, the little setback that we had with Broderick Jones, you have to be happy about what you're seeing on the opposite side of the ball with what they got from the draft just this year alone.
Yeah, well, Wyatt Black looked like a stud. Harmon, I want to see a whole hell of a lot more from Harmon, because the way he's been practicing and the film you've seen and the reports you've seen is like, this cat's all over the place. He got out there, didn't do a whole lot. I'm hoping that was just, first round jitters. We remember back in the day, we had Plexico Purse and Danny Farmer, and everyone thought Danny Farmer was going to be a beast because he had a good preseason. And
I never thought Danny Farmer was.
There were think pieces for days when that shit happened. They should have drafted him in the first round. Like, hopefully that's not going to be the situation here with the East Cats. Hopefully they both.
I'm shallow. If you tell me that there's a white guy with the last name Farmer is going to be my star,
you're going to root for him.
I don't believe it. No, I'm just shallow. I wouldn't believe it for a minute. You
see Cooper DeJean, like, we got one.
Yeah.
Give us one.
Team Paleface. Yeah. Score point for Team Paleface. Right. John says, every time Harvin had the punt, I was drinking that.
I was shooting up every time he had a punt.
I got to be honest, though, you got to like what we got going on right now with our punters. These two gentlemen, my God, whoever wins, Mike, we're going to be good in that position.
Way.
And the team that grabs the other guy is also going to be a team in good hands. I would start either one of these guys, either Johnston or Waitman, Mike. From what I've seen from Waitman last year and everything that I know about Johnston, I would take either one of these guys. But yes, Harvin, he would do it to you, wouldn't he?
Oh my God, Presley.
I don't know if it was as bad as Josh Miller whenever Miller was going through that time of kicking the 11-yard punt, but there was a few in there.
And it's up to like Presley would have some of those booming punts and those placement punts.
Yeah.
And then he had like 5 in a row that were all shanks.
I know.
Like, that's the stuff that just annoys me. Like, do it all the time.
Tortilla says Harvin might have been drinking too. Corey says, no, I don't want to do that to Derpy. I mean, what kind of boss are we dealing with here? We want to put Derpy through this, Mike.
I'm ready to put Derpy through anything.
I am too. I'm ready to put him through a table. What's going on with the boss? Why he doesn't want this, Derpy to be involved? I don't know. Well, it's the wife though, right? Yeah, doggy style with the wife.
Yeah, it's the wife. Doggy style with the wife.
What's the wife look like, Corey?
We'll run this by Derpy. Whether he agrees to it or not, we're gonna make him do it.
See, Kenneth says, with the minimal amount needed to pay Boz, they should get that done immediately. Kenneth agrees 100. I'm sorry. Tortilla says, Kenneth, I agree 100%. Kenneth says, do you think Cam is just worried about getting cut next year because the young guys can take? It's possible. Certainly.
Probably. Seeing the writing on the wall.
Right.
Get your last chunk of change before you're more or less not like forced out, but kind of forced out.
And Troy Polamalu and Hines Ward. I mean, it's as Mike says all the time. Franco Harris finished the season as a Seahawk. You got to remember they forced Hines Ward and Polamalu out. Nobody is bigger than the Steelers when it comes down to it. And I got to be honest, Mike. I would take Troy Polamalu over most football players on this planet. And again, at that point in his career, the writing was on the wall. I think you
Yeah.
nailed that term.
Yeah, it was, unfortunately for him.
Corey says to Cody's point, yeah, those guys played the same games, but all three quarterbacks are young and in their prime of their careers. We had a washed-up Wilson playing a young man's schedule, should have played Fields. I don't disagree with that. After Wilson loses 5 games in a row or 4 games in a row, you might want to consider changing something. But the fact that Wilson went 4-2, didn't really lose the handle on the football like a lot of people said he was going to. Mike did good with his legs, and the way it finished out. Looking at it, Heinz 2020, I may have went Justin Fields later in the season at some point because we weren't getting nothing done with the midget back there.
Yeah.
Aaron, what's up, brother? Always great seeing Aaron Jade on the board. Aaron Jade says, here we go, Steelers. That's right, baby. Here we go. Can't wait. Again, Steelers finish up training camp yesterday. Inter-squad practice tomorrow at Acrisure Stadium with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. No fans will be allowed, but the game just 48 hours after that, Mike, on Saturday, the Buccaneers will be playing the Steelers at Pittsburgh Saturday night at 7 o'clock for the second game, 2 of 3 in the preseason, Mike, getting closer every week here.
Can't wait.
Corey says she's just annoying, just super annoying, and likes to snitch on everyone. She's best left ignored.
That's even better. That's
because
right up Derpy's alley.
Because we ignored
She ain't gonna be telling no one about Derpy.
Kenneth says, wouldn't we owe Cam like 29 million next year?
What we owe Cam next year, there's a 12.95.
Okay, he did put it up, yes.
Yeah, 12.95 roster bonus and then a dead cap hit. Like, if they don't give him that roster bonus, they can cut him free and clear before that day, and they owe him nothing, and there's no cap hit for the team. So he had guaranteed money last year and this year.
A couple other things here. We got Alex Highsmith, when he was asked about his injury. Of course, he has the groin for about the 10th year in a row. Highsmith did say this. He says it's just a minor tweak. He expects to return soon. So I'm sure they'll baby that here over the next couple weeks to make sure he's ready for the opener and may play. Yeah, go ahead.
I would say he was off running to the side, and he looked pretty good. Didn't look like much discomfort when he was running.
I'm just saying with Coach Tomlin, the way he kind of babies an injury with some guys, sometimes a little longer than maybe you would think. That we would want. Yeah. I just think I could see them doing that with his groin. Maybe another week in the preseason here. I'm not sure. I don't have who's going to miss the game this Saturday night yet. But, Mike, I could see him maybe missing this week and then getting in action a little bit next week. Kenneth says, Cam, he'll get his 12.95. You got that. And then he also says they should just give him the roster bonus now and call it even.
I think that's what he wants.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
I think so, too. Also, Mike, Omar Khan, when asked about his wide receiver room, Omar Khan says he feels really good about his wide receiver room, Mike, as there was speculation that the Steelers may go out and make a move for that wide receiver 2 prior to the season start. Mike, Omar Khan, again, when asked about the room, he says he feels really good about the wide receiver room.
I feel really good about my weight, brother.
Yeah.
Let's hook each other up to a polygraph and find out we're both lying, brother.
Also, guys, speaking of former Steelers, Larry Foote, Mike, Super Bowl winning linebacker for the Steelers, Larry Foote. Larry Foote will be calling the defensive plays for Tampa Bay on Saturday night against Pittsburgh. So we'll get to see our old Super Bowl winning linebacker, Mike, Larry Foote.
Larry Foote. I always like Larry Foote. Slow little middle linebacker from Michigan.
Yeah, but he had Ferrier in there with him.
Yeah, not a bad guy to
not a bad guy to pick up your slack.
Yeah, well, Ferrier just had Foote was the run stuffing guy. Let Ferrier do all the fancy shit.
Yeah. A couple things here, Mike. Also, Najee, and I know people are tired of me saying it. Najee had all the 1,000 yards in all 4 of his seasons so far, Mike. Alvin Kamara, he had 0 1,000-yard runs in 8 seasons, in 8 years. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, for us to complain about Najee, and I get it, don't get me wrong, I understand what people are saying. So somebody like a Kamara, a lot of people would have taken him. Like, he was a big name. He was made big plays. Did not have one single 1,000-yard rushing season. So, again, Najee wasn't as bad as people think he says that he was. Like, I like Najee. Like I said, I just hope that this group of running backs can at least get to that level, Mike, and still. I think they have to. I think
we're going to finish 1 yard short.
Hey, and if they do, I'm gonna be the most annoying son of a bitch you ever heard.
1 yard short, but 5 more touchdowns. Ryan's going to harp on that 1 yard.
I will harp.
You will harp on that 1 yard.
I will harp all off season.
Not about the touchdowns.
That half a yard.
And you know what? I respect it. I respect it because that's some petty bullshit I would do.
I never used to be this way, Mike, until I started working with you. Now I picking up on all of your habits.
All my good traits, they're rubbing off on you, brother. You've gained weight. Your hair's growing.
Who gained weight? I'm on a nice diet. I'm doing really well with my diet. I'm gonna be honest with you, man.
So have I've lost like 10 pounds.
Did you really? Yeah.
Like my clothes are fitting better. So,
you look more like a guard now than a tackle. Corey says, even if you feel good about your wide receiver room, you have to get it. You had a chance to make it better and feel great about it. Why wouldn't you? I agree. I just don't think if it was just 1 year, Corey, it would be one thing. But the fact that it's 2 years in a row that they didn't even they answered the question for about 30 seconds, and then they sent George Pickens out of here like he was on a Scud missile, the Dallas. So we
on a Scud missile.
We were excited. We had, my God, it's George Pickens and DK Metcalf. Yeah. We thought we really had it, but here we are again. So maybe next year, like the Pirates, they'll be better next year, right, Mike?
Hey, our wide receiver room is better than the Bills' receiver room.
That's true. A couple other things here, Mike. McKeesport alum, what's his name? Khalid Hudson. He signed with the Tennessee Titans, Mike. So from
nice from the city I was born in.
Yes, the city you were born in. Another McKeesport born, I guess you would say, is off to Tennessee to play, Mike. He was signed with the Titans. Also, and OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr., hanging up the towel after 10 seasons, Mike. He is going to retire.
Apparently those reports are false.
Are they really?
Yeah. Because
the picture with him and his little kid outside the stadium.
Yeah, I saw all that stuff, and then he said, "Don't believe everything you read on online." So yeah, because I thought he was done.
Mike, would you take OBJ as your number 2 receiver this year?
Fuck no.
That's what I'm saying. This guy's done. His career's done.
His career is one catch. Yeah, I take that. He had a hell of a fucking Super Bowl before he got hurt.
Yeah,
I don't want to take that away from him. He was on his way to be MVP that game, but most of his career is based off of one catch. He was never a top 10 receiver.
No, you would think that he was by everything that all the talk about him over the years, Mike. And that's one thing that I was always so surprised when I seen him play. He was just never that guy. He was never the player that.
He was fun to watch because when he was on making those circus catches and shit, he was fun to watch for those first couple years, but then it just kind of fell apart for him.
So here's what I'm looking at. Adam Schefter yesterday, after 10 seasons in the NFL, Odell Beckham Jr. has decided to retire. Beckham Jr. played for the Giants, the Browns, the Rams, the Ravens, and the Dolphins. He announced Tuesday via Adam Schefter. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to believe here.
Yeah, I saw him say something like, "Don't believe everything that you hear."
Yeah, I don't discredit what you're saying. I just it's odd. I don't know what to think. And with OBJ, you don't know. You just don't know, Mike. You don't know.
Yeah, because he's saying, "No, seriously, please start reading everything on the internet. Stop texting me happy retirement before you piss me off. I'll get you no response. I promise you, the day I'm done, I will let you know."
So, very interesting.
Very.
Because Adam Schefter has the scoop. You know what I mean?
He does, and he tends to break stuff before people want it broken.
Yeah, that may be it too.
Yeah.
Mike, why don't you go ahead and break open the information about our email address or our website? I'm sorry. You might as well throw the email address out there too.
2Yinzers at gmail.com. The 2Yinzers.com. That is our website. Check it out, everyone. You know what's over there. Our merch store. All of Ryan and I social media links. The Dumb Thoughts will be coming back here shortly. So check it all out at the 2Yinzers.com.
Go check it out, everybody. www.the2Yinzers.com. That's www.the2Yinzers.com. And also the email address, Mike. It cycles out beneath Mike's face at any point in time. If you need any of that information or anything about our social media pages. They're constantly going through the course of the show right underneath Mike there. Mike, let's get to the trivia question of the day. We're going to stay with our how well do you know your enemies? How well do you know your opponents trivia this week, getting ready for the regular season, Mike. Tampa Bay, get those hands up in the air so we can see. Mike, the Tampa Bay, this is the question of the day. Put on your thinking caps. Everybody on the board, here we go. Of course, do we know that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have won 2 Super Bowls in the team's history? Can you name the Super Bowl MVP from both of those teams? 2 different players, obviously. So they
let me type it in with
Mike
my
is
elbow
typing
here.
it in with his elbow as we speak. But Mike, they won 2 Super Bowls back in 02, 03, and then again a few years ago. Who were the MVPs for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in those Super Bowl victories? Take a minute to think that over, guys. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube. All right, guys, question of the day. Question of the day. We all know that Tampa Bay has won 2 Super Bowls. They won in 02, 03, and then just a few years ago. Who were the MVPs of those Super Bowls for Tampa? Any thoughts, Mike? What's your thought process?
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady? Okay.
Tom Brady. He hit a really good. And then I think it was a defensive back who had like a couple picks for Tampa that game.
Okay.
I'm going to pull Derpy. I'm going to go Davis.
Davis? All right.
Just Davis.
So your answer is Tom Brady and Davis. Tom Brady and Davis. Is this your final answer?
Yeah, because I'm blanking on that first one because there's a lot of guys in that first one that good players that I can name off, but I thought it was like an unheralded guy.
All right. I'm going to lock you in, Mike. Mike says Tom Brady and Davis. If it's Davis, Mike, I'll give it to you. In the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I almost said Larry Brown. I almost had flashbacks.
The two championships that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have. The question of the day is, who were the MVPs of those particular Super Bowls? Mike is saying Tom Brady and Davis. John on the board is saying no clue. I'm going to, right off the top, I'm going to let you know that Tom Brady is correct. That is correct. The other guy, if you recall, we actually had interest in him the following season because he left Tampa Bay as a free agent. We called. I kind of got excited because I thought that, he might have been pretty good. He got 2 interceptions in the Super Bowl. You're right. We didn't get him, but Mike, his name was Dexter Jackson. Dexter Jackson, safety. The safety, he did have 2 interceptions in the Super Bowl. Dexter Jackson and Tom Brady, who threw 3 touchdowns in the most recent Super Bowl. So Davis was close, I guess. There was a D in there somewhere.
I knew it was a random guy in the secondary.
Yeah. With all the good players they had.
You had there, it was him. I was like, Davis?
Yeah, John Lynch and Sapp and what was Derek Thomas was, or what was the who am I thinking, Mike? Rondé Barber. Rondé
Barber, yeah.
Man, they had a good defense. One of the best. Mike Tomlin got a ring for that team as well for the Super Bowl win. Mike, I'm going to go over this just because I have to. I guess the Pirates, they lose by a couple touchdowns. Mike, 14-0. And a Paul Skeen start. Brooks, yes, Corey, that's exactly the guy I was trying to think of as well, Derek Brooks. The Paul Skeen start, Mike, he gives up about 4 runs, I think, 6 hits. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I'm just going off memory. Pirates lose by 2 touchdowns. They continue their series against the Braves today. Game 3 of 3 is a 2-10 start. And then they'll be off tomorrow, and then they start a weekend series in Chicago against the Cubbies. The Brewers, Mike. The Brewers, they made the playoffs 7 times in the last 8 years. Why am I saying this? Because they're a small market team like we are.
Yep.
The Brewers have made the playoffs 7 times in the last 8 years. The Pirates haven't made the playoffs 7 times in the last 45 years.
Jesus.
So
that's pathetic.
To add injury to insult, Mike, O'Neal Cruz, after getting injured last night, is being evaluated for a head injury. So the Pirates season going exactly how we thought it would go down. Pirates are sitting there at 51-70, 121 games into the season, Mike, as they have 41 more games to go in the baseball season. I can't believe there's still that much to go.
It's ugh.
But game 3 today against Milwaukee after taking an ass whooping, Mike. 2 touchdowns, 14-0.
Yeah.
Again, and another shutout that they're involved with. In this, they got to hit that record, Mike. I stopped paying attention because we stopped really talking about them, but they were getting close to that record with being involved in shutouts, whether it be wins or losses throughout the course of the season. So there's been a couple since then. We'll have to look back into, maybe talk about it tomorrow. But yes, the Pirates lose by 2 touchdowns, and to lose by 14-0 in a football game, that's one thing. You didn't play good football. I mean, you might have played good D, but at the end of the day, when you lose 14-0 in baseball, what does that really say about you?
Yeah, God, this seems god awful.
My God,
burn them to the ground.
Brewers today 2-10. This series will finally be over, Mike. But again, the Pittsburgh Steelers, what's really important to us here in the Berg, they're off today. Tomorrow, they do have the inter-squad practice with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Acrisure Stadium. No fans will be invited in, but you will certainly be able to make it into the stadium on Saturday whenever we take on the Buccaneers in our second preseason game of the year, Mike, 7 o'clock Saturday. And then we'll be just have one preseason game left after that. So it's here, guys. It's getting close. Training camp, Mike, is done. It's done for the year.
Oh God, one day closer to the actual regular season. I can't wait.
Can't wait, brother. Mike, anything before we do start to get ready to wrap things up for today?
Hold on. I think I had something. I had something bookmarked. Here we go. Jalen Warren, among 48 qualified running backs from 2022 to 2024, his 4.8 yards per carry, 6th in the NFL. So he's pretty. We might have a guy here, So I'm not too worried. Now it's just, can the other guys that we brought in, can they carry the load of what Jalen did? I'm hoping, from what I'm seeing from Jalen Warren's numbers broken down, like if he can match or do a little bit more than what Najee did, I think we'll be okay.
Oh, we gotta hope. We gotta
hope. Hope in one hand, shit in the other. See what fills up first.
Yeah, I do. Again, some guys, they have 3 carries and they get 25 yards. They just get a nice average, Mike. It's when you start getting the workload is when you really start to see what you have. Yeah. And that's what's it's going to happen this year because Najee's gone. It's going to be Jalen is the main guy. And Caleb, there's still, don't get me wrong, Caleb is going to be a big part of this team moving forward, but, there's still a lot of questions. Like, he hasn't really shown in the Jacksonville game anything that we could be happy about. But I think the player is going to be okay. He's just got to get more reps, get out there a little bit more, and he's going to get that opportunity this Saturday against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where I do believe, Mike, we are going to have starters. We'll find out more as the week goes on, who is going to be playing and who is not going to be playing Saturday. But as I said, Joey Porter was talking about how he cannot wait. He's excited to play against Mike Evans. So that's telling me we're going to see something good on Saturday as far as football players, Mike. I'm here for it. Again, the second preseason game, just a couple weeks away from the the season opener against the Jets. I believe we open up at home against Seattle in week 2, if I'm not mistaken, Mike. It'll be here before we know it.
Oh, right around the corner. I'm itching for real football.
I am too, buddy. Mike, anything else before we wrap it up?
I got nothing, brother.
All right. I do want to say this. If you haven't had a chance, go check out our social media pages. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram, X, formerly known as Twitter, Threads, and even TikTok. Go stop by, hit the follow button, keep up with us on a day-to-day basis. And then also, if you haven't had a chance yet today, hit the like, sub, and subscribe buttons below. It helps us out a lot. We appreciate it greatly. Mike, again, my beef at the top of the show, I don't like the Yankees using our Renegade. I don't like it. It's ours. We came up with it. We use it for our football team. We use it for our baseball team. But in the big picture, the Yankees are just doing their part of making the Renegade song great again, Mike. Any way you slice it, I don't like it. It's ours. Leave it be. Come up with your own song. You're the second biggest country or city in the world. You can't come up with a song. Get the hell out of here.
Hey, everything good starts in Pittsburgh.
Hey, the Big Mac started in Pittsburgh. People don't talk about that enough. But there you have it, guys. Camp is over. It is done. No more camp until next July. I hope you enjoyed it. We enjoyed it. We'll be back tomorrow at our regular time to do it all over again and get ready for the inter-squad practice tomorrow. Mike, as they do have Tampa Bay in town for the inter-squad practice tomorrow, and then again Saturday. I'm not sure. I don't have the schedule in front of me, Mike, but I don't think preseason games start till Friday this week. I could be wrong. We'll hit the schedule and see what's going on with the preseason tomorrow and a lot more, Mike. I do believe that is everything for me. I want to say thank you, guys. I want to say thank you, everybody, for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We certainly appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you, everybody on the board. You guys are amazing, and you always keep things interesting here on the show. And I want to say thank you to everybody that's at home, maybe in the car, maybe at the gym, or just somewhere with your earbuds in. We want to thank you, too. Again, we'll be back tomorrow at our regular time, Mike, to continue to get ready for the Pittsburgh Steelers as they're getting ready for their preseason game against Tampa Bay this weekend and getting ready to inching toward the regular season. We'll be here for it all tomorrow, guys, right here. We hope to see everybody then. For Mike in the Steelers Central Mobile Studio, for myself, everybody have a great Wednesday, a great hump day.
Okay.
Hump day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.